If you're used to using React UI frameworks and you've recently upgraded to Next.js 13, you may have noticed an annoying error like this. React create context is not a function. This user on GitHub Midnight Design is explaining how Material UI doesn't work in Next.js 13 server components. The reason most React UI libraries stopped working with Next 13 is because now Next.js 13 is going all in with a server-side first mentality. If you go to their documentation, one of the first things they say is it's time to start thinking in server components. Server components are now the default in the new app directory within Next 13. You have to choose to opt in to a client-side component when needed by marking the component with this use client keyword at the top of the component. In other words, Next really wants you to start using server-side components instead of client-side components. This is what's creating issues with a lot of React UI frameworks like Material UI, because all of these frameworks live on the client side, and so they don't work in server-side components. In this video, we're going to go through Next.js 13's styling options, the styling options they mention in their documentation. And since there are not a lot of UI framework styling options out there, first, let's go through the styling options Next.js 13 mentions in their documentation. CSS modules. Next.js 13 has built-in support for module.css. So in your pages, you're able to create CSS from scratch using CSS modules, and then you can import that into your page and everything will work fine even on a server-side component. The second way to style your components that Next.js 13 highly recommends is to use Tailwind CSS. Tailwind CSS is a utility-first CSS framework. It works really well with Next.js, and you can use it both on the server side and on the client side. If you're not familiar with Tailwind, I highly recommend you learn Tailwind. It's really simple to learn. If you'd be interested in me creating a Tailwind CSS tutorial, please let me know in the comments below. I'm thinking about making a tutorial. Another way you can style is using global styles. You'll notice when you create your Next 13 app, there's a globals.css file in the root of the directory. Whatever styles you create in this globals.css will be accessible in every page in your app, even inside of your server-side components. And so, for example, if you open up the template app that's created for you when you create your Next 13 app, any A tag link you see on the page will be using this A tag globals CSS styling. So any styling you put in the globals.css file will be accessible throughout your entire app. The next option is CSS and JS libraries. There is a big warning in the documentation. CSS and JS libraries, which require runtime JavaScript, are not currently supported in server components. The library authors have to support the latest version of React, including concurrent rendering. It looks like the Next team is working with React to try to solve this problem, but for now it's not supported. There are some UI libraries out there trying to solve this problem. The ones mentioned in the documentation are Emotion, Material UI, and Chakra UI. And again, a big thing to remember with CSS and JavaScript libraries is they're currently not supported in server components. You're going to need to put use client at the top of the components you want to use the styling in. So this really isn't currently a very good solution for server-side styling, and you should probably avoid this, at least for now. External style sheets can also be used in any kind of component. So for example, you can import Bootstrap and that will work. Next.js also supports Sass. So if you create files with the extension SCSS or Sass, that is supported. You shouldn't have any problems using this in both client-side components and server-side components. If you'd like me to make a video on Tailwind UI for Next 13, please let me know in the comments below. Since there are not a lot of UI framework solutions out there for Next.js 13 server-side components, in one of my upcoming videos, we'll be creating our own UI library using Tailwind that works in both server-side components and client-side components. And I may make this public on GitHub and invite you all to help me build out this Tailwind UI library. If you're interested in being notified when that video comes out, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Like this video if you'd like to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.